me, maybe the most precious thing right now is time. And so if I want to make something happen with chess, it's definitely better to do it while I'm younger. Whereas, if I want to get like my PhD in something, I could wait quite a few years before going back to school for that, which is why I'm quite committed to chess right now. I think it would be hard for me to play forever, like athletes in general kind of have a lifespan on their career, but I think it's pretty long, so I think it's always good to sort of, I don't want to say kind of keep your options open, but I think kind of a person that likes to do what feels right to me in the moment. Right now, I think that's chess, and it probably will be chess for at least a few more years until I kind of accomplish my ambitions here, and then after that, I have a lot of other things I also want to do in my life, but there's so much time for that later.
What are your ambitions in chess?
In chess? Yeah, Sagar, like you said, I love to play in the candidates. I love to compete for the world championship title. I think I'd also like to break, like 26 someday. Well, we'll see how it goes.
She has a lot of clarity, and also I'm sure she's going to get into philosophy. The way she is giving this interview, it's amazing at this young age. Wow. And do you also focus on physical fitness for chess per se or something?
Yeah, I think physical fitness is a big thing because, at the end of tournaments, you can get so tired, that sort of thing. If you're playing a bunch of tournaments in a row, you can feel burnt out very easily. So I generally try to keep my physical shape up, but it can be a little hard, when you're traveling so much, but usually every hotel has a gym, so it's okay.
No, I think it's amazing that the St. Louis Cup Club, how has that supported over here? Like, can you share about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So St. Louis started supporting me earlier in the year. Well, to begin with, first, I've grown up playing in their tournaments. They've done so much for chess in the United States, especially, I think, for young talents, it's kind of harder in the U.S. to have federation support as opposed to in other countries. Just because I think the country doesn't really value chess as much. But for example, St. Louis has been very important in, let me give examples. So maybe when I was like around 10-ish, there would be like the U.S. Junior Championships, right? So I was playing the U.S. Junior Girls Championships, and these would be hosted by like basically private organizations or individuals who wanted to help support chess, but it was always very unclear if there's going to be a junior championship next year, and sometimes it might get skipped if no one would no one could be found to sort of sponsor it. And I think maybe 2016, 2017 actually, St. Louis started hosting the junior girls, and it's just so different. We would, in the past, we would play in like some random motel in like Tulsa or something, but conditions in St. Louis are so great. They treat their players so well, and I think it was also really important to show that they want to support young talent in America, and especially like young girls in chess, which is big. So that's kind of their role in, say, my younger years. And yeah, like I said, recently they started supporting me. So I moved to St. Louis, and I'm sort of trying to train here while I'm traveling around for the tournaments. And I think chess can be like a big financial burden as well. So that was something that was kind of an issue for my family and I for a bit. But yeah, again, with this St. Louis support, it's been a lot easier.
You spoke about chess being not as valued as a sport in the US. Does that bug you a bit? Does that, because you are the best in the country, you will very well go on to achieve much more?
I think wouldn't say it actually bugs me all that much because, for example, I know like back in, we could go back like a couple of decades and there's just like almost like no big chess tournaments in the country, like no support at all. So, St. Louis has done so much and I'm very thankful for that. And I think it's not really something that I take for granted. So I think it's also I kind of have this thing where I don't really want to worry too much about things that I can't change. So if chess isn't really say so valued in the United States, there's nothing I can do about that if let's say the US government doesn't really care enough to support their athletes, that sort of thing. But of course chess is becoming very, very popular, has become very popular. And that also kind of has long-standing effects in the community that hopefully kind of opens up more avenues and opportunities for American players.
And recently we saw you at India versus USA. And I saw you were so chirpy and laughing and joking around. So it was a lot of fun. Have you been to India? Are you planning to come to India?
Yeah, actually I was in India in 2022 for the Olympiad. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah. I think I'd love to come back. Yeah.
Did you enjoy the Indian food? Or
yes,
was it
I love
spicy?
Indian food. Well, my mom is from Chengdu, a province in China, which is really known for their spicy food. So spice doesn't bother me. Yeah.
Maybe she eats more spicy than us. Wow. Alright, Carissa, so thank you so much for talking to us. It was wonderful to get to know you, and I'm sure we'll be doing more interviews with you. Your story is interesting. We're very, very interested how it pans out with so much talents you possess. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. So much
Thank you.
fun.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
It was so
guys.
nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, nice. So next time you're in